Good. Thank you very much. A perfect segue into this. What an amazing presentation over all the human capital and the importance of people within our industry, which is essential. Is there a zapper for this thing? Yeah? Press the green button? Okay, cool. Good afternoon. Thank you for coming. 5:30 on Tuesday. So much appreciate you being here. My name is Patrick Smith. I'm the Chief Operating Officer for Strive Services Group, and I'll explain a little bit how that comes into play. Redefining priorities. We see it all too often, the projects that are happening, and where are our colleagues, our staff going to be living. So out there, some incredible stands, huge amount of money being spent, focusing on the projects themselves, the hotels, the destinations, etc. These giga projects, mega projects, and huge amounts also in the urban districts themselves. And there's repetitive complaints about finding accommodation for where people can actually live. But as we know in our industry, happy staff is critical and they are best asset. And so people are human capital. They are such a critical part of what we do in the hospitality trade. And they are the essence of this. So all the money that's being spent for the development, as good as power and electricity, without the right people, then the buildings will not operate to their full potential. So by definition, people within our industry are a critical influence, and they run through the DNA of our industry. And I should know, this is me as a chef, 18 years old. I trained with the Savoy Group, management trainee, and have been through the industry from the grassroots. I trained with the Savoy Group, and the motto of the Savoy Group in those days, it's since been disbanded, was "For excellence we strive." And talking of excellence, Horst Schulze, who is the founder of the Ritz-Carlton, beautifully coined the phrase of ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. So colleagues, staff, serving guests, and we should be treating our employees in a similar vein that we treat our guests. So my group is called Strive, stolen from the Savoy Group, Strive Services Group, and we have 4 companies within our group, and one of them is Domus, which is focused within this space of what I'm talking to you about today. So what is the market opportunity? Well, Knight Frank, congratulations, have sort of identified 320,000 planned hotel keys that are coming into the market. Over 2/3 of that through the giga projects, and then in the primary, secondary, and tertiary markets after that. So there's a huge amount of keys coming on board. So what does that actually mean? That's circa, ballpark, 500,000 staff will be required to service those keys, which is about 300,000 rooms based on number of people per room. And we're talking shy of 5.8 billion Saudi riyal in terms of associated accommodation costs. So this is a phenomenally large part of our sector, and are we addressing it correctly? And how is that going to happen? So clearly location, we know is important for the assets, is as important to where our colleagues and staff are going to be living. And the sort of balancing act of the vision of the 2030 Charter, we have increased rental demands and a regulation that is fantastically coming in. And it's about setting a new benchmark, a new standard within this arena. So in MOMRA, things like the quality of life, putting constraints around maximum number of people per room is about setting a new benchmark for standards of housing and accommodation, which is critical. Thinking about single-sex housing, etc., and the social dynamics that would be required for all of this. This is a critical element of things. So what are we thinking about? Well, we need to build smarter, looking at this as an investment opportunity rather than just an ancillary service and a cost center, protecting against future rental increases. So we're often hearing about owners of these properties, of the hotels, struggling with that, and looking at repurposing of the inventory for future use as the market grows. They can have alternative purposes later as well. So we're seeing that the corporate housing space is becoming segmented. We've got from the high down to labour camps. So we have affordable housing where managers would stay. We have hospitality would be in the more premium to junior staff housing space. And then we have a brand called Domus Blue for upper labour camp, so facility management staff. And I'll come on to those. So let's say affordable housing, hospitality, and upper labour segments. These might be put into a single site location. Some of that is forced. So for those projects that are in particularly far out places, they need to be close by, but you have different sectors and segments of the market, and you have managers living with junior staff, so separating them. Or multi-tenanted buildings is to be considered, or just generally, do they live in the open market? And clearly, in urban areas, that's the go-to default, but is there the right supply for those members of staff? We are based in Dubai. We need more information to be able to get from here, but predominantly, and we think that the trends are relatively similar, we have a 57-43 split between male-female in terms of employees working within the hotels, predominantly single. And what would be different here is the local population that can be tapped into, which what we find back in Dubai, it's predominantly expat. So do we have all in one location in terms of division by rank? Do we have separation within those? Those are considerations that need to be thought about with, for housing the staff. Huge amount of operational challenges that can come about. These are young, typically people. So cleaning, shift patterns, transportation, all these things need to be considered. Their home away from home, typically away from their families. Wi-Fi is essential, and making it a home so that they are in the right frame of mind, having done a 12-hour shift plus, and having then driven to the accommodation to make sure that they are in the right frame of mind to provide and service yourselves within the asset. And it's not just the rent, it's all the associated costs. It's after payroll the largest expense within the P&L of a hotel. So you have your utilities, you have the furnishings, the fittings, the repair of those, and the operations of these facilities is quite an operation at hand and needs to be thought about at the planning stage, not just the beautiful five-star hotels, but also the ancillary support services that are critical to those. So predominantly markets, at least rent increases are becoming challenges, high number of people in the rooms, more than 6+, which is unacceptable, shared bathrooms, etc., with high commutes. And so what we're focused on, what we've done back in Dubai, and we're looking to do more here, we're hopefully announcing something soon on some new contracts, is purpose-built accommodation, fixed priced, all-inclusive, so security for asset owners in terms of what the price is going to be. So you have positive forward-looking outflow on your P&Ls, 2 to a room, every single room is en suite, no shared bathrooms, and easily accessible. Domus Managed Housing, we do development, we've been through this a number of times, we lease, we manage, and we have investors sitting behind us who will buy and acquire land, sites near your locations to develop purpose-built accommodation. So we're looking at opportunities. This is our development in Dubai. The first 4 towers are constructed, the 5th is under construction. On completion, it will be 2,500 rooms, so capacity of 5,000 staff. We secured last year the new one and only One Zabil, 1,200 staff. They're living in our accommodation, alongside Adagio, for example, which is a limited service brand. So we have limited service also staying with full service 5-star select. So the rooms themselves, every single room is en suite. Single, double, we have kitchenettes, and so there's privacy. And then within the community, every single building has a pool, there's facilities there, football, basketball, cricket nets, and also facilities for training, like was talked about in the previous slide. Training is critical, and to be done in campus to supplement what is done on site is really important. So community is everything. We have over 20 hotels in that community. I think we're dispelling the myth that Marriott must have their own and Hilton must have their own, etc. They are humans at the end of the day. They work with certain people to go back to an environment where they can share and make new friends and be in a community is really, really important. And so that's, look, we're on the charge. So happy staff should be your best asset, and with all the investment that's happening here in the capital, please do not forget about the staff. If you need help, we have been there, done there, got the t-shirt. We'd love to hear from you and to help and assist, and thank you very much for your time.